a bunch of dinner freezer meals. I am so excited. That's some ground bison that I just brought up with some current inspiration. The first thing we're gonna start on is big batch chicken pot pies and shepherd's pies. And then I have a whole lot of ideas. We'll see how far we get. I've got about 5 hours this afternoon into the evening to get a bunch of cooking done. I'm hoping for massive freezer meals. I mean, we always end up with massive something. Let's go down first to the grocery store in my basement and gather up some supplies and get cooking. The first thing I want to do though, so this is not the meat that's defrosted in these first recipes, but I know we're going to get to this ground bison, and so I'm going to just get this going in some cold water, and if it's still partially frozen and we get to it at some point this afternoon, that's fine, because I will start cooking it that way, but no reason why to not have it sitting here defrosting for a bit. Now the meat that we're gonna start with is I had a bag of mystery pre-cooked chicken in my freezer, and then I also had a bag of ground turkey and a bag of ground beef from just at some point over the past year when I was cooking, and those random pre-cooked bags of meat got put in the freezer, whether it was a project I didn't finish or I was just had cooked some extra ahead and figured I'd use it later. Right now during the pantry and freezer cooking challenge that I'm doing hopefully up to about 12 weeks when I'm filming this, I am in my 3rd week of it. I know we're a little bit behind real time with video editing and such, but we're doing it. Just to let you know, today is July 11th and we are doing things. So I'm gonna get this soaking. Now we do have about 20 quarts of our home canned chicken. This is chicken that I raised and we home butchered and we had in the freezers, and then we canned it in 2023, so I want to get this used up. So besides the chicken that I have defrosting from the freezer, the rest of the chicken that we're going to use if we need any more in today's video is going to be our home canned chicken. In addition to the big batch pot pies that we're gonna make and the shepherd's pies, which it's been a long time since I've done shepherd's pie. I've been joking, we're calling it Prairie Pie because we're using some ground bison within all that. I also have a list that I would like to do big batch chili, big batch spaghetti sauce. I know we just did 30 quarts the other week and I used what was left doing a bunch of baked spaghettis and baked ziti's, but it does not hurt for me to use these ingredients and have spaghetti sauce ready to go. Also, big batch taco meat, and did I say, oh, big batch sloppy joes. All of these are staples for my family folks, and if I have these in gallon bags in my freezers, we will use them, and you will see them in many upcoming large family meals of the week videos. So for the chicken pot pies, I don't think I have any mixed vegetables in the freezer. I have broccoli, I have okra, I have cauliflower rice, and the tomatoes that we're getting to. So I believe we're going to use canned vegetables for that. And let's see here, looking. I know I set out that chicken and such to defrost. Also in here I got 1 gallon of milk left and some almond milk, so I need to do a little Walmart grocery pickup if you're just following me. Using up what I can from my basement grocery store, but only filling in with necessities. Again, hopefully, doing my math, if I'm in my 3rd week, hopefully we'll get at least 9 more weeks without a big grocery haul. But I did the other week, last week, earlier this week, it's all running together. I did fill in on some butter. I'm thinking I'm just gonna put the butter here. I'll put it here in my chicken and pork refrigerator freezer for now. I needed butter for a bunch of baking that I did a few days ago in a freezer challenge, freezer cooking video. And yeah, that was really my biggest thing I bought so far this week. But I'm sure I'll spend another $100 tomorrow between milk and just some odds and ends. I spent, I think it was $109 on the butter that I bought, and then I got some more bananas. And then over here, this is the meat the meat that I had defrosting. That includes a little bit of ground beef, some ground pork, and then the chicken. And then I also had 3 pounds of the ground bison that isn't cooked defrosting. So we are here now in my pantry storage room. I have my home canned items and then of course my store-bought canned items. And you can see like there's major gaps, there's holes, there's things falling. I want to do another video for you all coming up soon where we just tackle this whole room. It has been a year since I've organized in here, and of course, you know, we've thrown stuff in here and obviously use things and pull it out. But yeah, it needs attention. But what I'm going to do, I do have probably 15 quarts of home canned potatoes still in my canning pantry. I'm going to do homemade mashed potatoes with the home canned potatoes. Now, doing mashed potatoes with home canned potatoes, they're still good. It's not quite the same as doing it with fresh potatoes, but I've done it before and we've eaten it, and I think the consistency for on top of a shepherd's pie is fantastic. I'm not worried about it. So we're going to use up some of those potatoes for that. And then I'm going to, I feel like I just caught some mixed vegetables. Okay, hold on here. Okay, and so then I'm going to get a variety of mixed vegetables, and this is shepherd's pie and the chicken pot pie. Basically, I need mixed vegetables for both. And now I can use some of my home canned potatoes though, and I see some home canned corn. I'm getting excited. You're playing with me, but as far as within the chicken pot pie, I can have chunks of potato. And I'm also, what I hope to do is do a bunch of the filling, and then we'll use our freezer biscuits in like a 9x13 pan. I'll do the chicken pot pie filling, we'll top it with freezer biscuits. That will be the pot pies. And then when I want to do chicken and dumplings, we'll use the biscuits cooked within that too. And I have home canned carrots, so I'm going to be hauling up quite a bit of home canned things to use in both those first recipes. So many things. Okay, let's get going. Okay, I'm going to hold my ladder down here. Like I say, be gentle with your judgment because this room, it needs my attention and we will get to it. But today is not that day. Come on, ladder. We can do it. Still can't quite get my ladder in here. I don't know what's in those boxes. That'll be a mystery for another day. Okay. Alrighty, so this bag I'm having a teenager carry up for me, and this is a variety of sweet peas and some mixed vegetables and green beans that we'll use up. So then you can see we have some corn back that way, some corn over there, taking up this corn, and then we will just start the process to load up potatoes. Saw some potatoes over here. I had a friend over and she was telling me how she would just love to help me like strip this room bare and just go at it with a deep organizing. So anyway, we're getting there, and using what we have, what we can up is helpful, and then we will be all fresh for a new year. I do feel like I need more potatoes. Alrighty, so this is what we just brought up from the basement. We have home canned carrots, lots of potatoes, some corn. This chicken was already up here because I started thinking of this project the other day, so here we go. Hey, there's some applesauce that also needs used. And then we got good old Great Value canning, can't go wrong there. some great value chicken broth because we are not yet back in our broth making era, right? Then some of our mystery meats, so that's ground turkey, this is ground beef, ground chicken, and again the bison that I already had defrosted, and then the ground bison that's currently defrosting. Okay, so I love the past me of 7 years ago that was so good about getting these big batch recipes up on largefamtable.com, because all I have to do is go to my notes, go to my recipe notes. So it's about 8 pounds of shredded chicken. Let me see, and I'll link this below. I actually have, I was just looking, I have 4 or 5 variations of big batch chicken pot pies over on the blog. This particular recipe that we're following makes 4 11 by 18 pans. Who were we? I love us, okay? So anyway, we are making the filling and then we're going to freeze it in the gallon bags. We've discussed this, thanks for chatting. So it's roughly how this is written, 5 pounds of frozen peas, carrots, and corn. We're gonna use a variety of our home canned items. 8 pounds of pre-cooked and shredded chicken. And so eyeballing my amount of chicken, I probably have, I'm guessing, 3 to 4 pounds from the freezer. And then we're gonna continue on filling in with our quarts from there. Then 8 cups of butter, a tablespoon of thyme, 8 cups of flour, 24 cups of chicken broth, 8 cups of milk. So let's get going with this and make something happen. Okay, so I had to think through which pot I thought would be our best friend. I think we can do this in here. And 8 cups of butter. Always forget, this is 2, isn't it? Come on, Jamerrill. 1 stick of butter is half a cup. So we got 1 cup, 2 cups, 3 cups, 4. But no, 2 more boxes. Alrighty. We'll just make our little butter mountain. I want to stack it tall. It may not cooperate though. Could be like Legos or Lincoln Logs, but this is what moms do in the kitchen. We stack our butter. Alright. Gee, Jamerrill, what'd you do with that $100 of butter you bought this week? I made buildings out of it. It's gonna fall. Okay, we'll stop this now. Nice. So I don't know if you needed a friend that could like stir a boat of butter, but if so, I'm your girl, because we got 8 cups of butter melting down now. So I'm going to do the tablespoon of thyme and then our eyeball salt and pepper into the butter. Pepper that's already open over here. I know I do. That must be it. Always get scared I'm going to break a nail on that pepper box because I have done that. Okay. And we have a boatload of thyme. Yes, we do. Wish I would have bought a boatload of onion powder and garlic powder. Alrighty, so this butter is definitely melted. I'm gonna add in my 8 cups of flour. And once we get that stirred down pretty well, we are gonna add in the 24 cups of broth and the 8 cups of milk. Thank you, I have a helper bringing me milk, perfect. That is, we're on our last gallon and a half here, so. And I will be doing a small necessity Walmart pickup order tomorrow. I see you boiling butter. I have the heat on low. 7. Yeah, things get serious pretty quickly. 8. Okay. See how quickly I can attend to this situation. Probably took too long, huh? Now I don't know if I'm as confident about this pot as I was to begin with once we add in all the vegetables. We'll see though. See how our boat size turns out. Alrighty, so feeding the mama, I've got a few of these containers of the hamburger soup from THM that we made a couple months ago, and I'm simultaneously going to get this heated up for myself. I got people running around heating up other things for lunch. So probably in between the chicken pot pie filling and the shepherd's pie, I'll stop to feed my face, which is always important. Okay, well, the time has come to upgrade pots. So 16 quart pot, 30 quart pot. I'm rusty, what can I say? But hey, look, we made our sauce, and I'm just gonna use my 4-cup measuring cup here and just ladle it in, dump it in, and then we will have room to actually add in the chicken and vegetables. So, okay, this was a good warm-up. Okay friends, I think we're to the portion of the pot games where I can pick this up. Have the heat off, we are winning. Okay. Let me not get my face too close to it though, as my recent hand and arm burn have proved I am burnable. If that will sit while I spray it. Probably not. Probably not going to be a thing. Maybe we can just do this. you tell me, is it fitting on the other side? No, so, ooh, good fire. Okay. So I'm gonna scrape what's left. I'm proud of us. We did that. I had someone walk through and I had to move my camera for me. So life is good. We wasted very little. I did not burn my face, which is nice. And we're doing things. So this is about 1/3 of the way full with the sauce. And now we have room for the 8 pounds of chicken and roughly 5 pounds of vegetables. So look at us, we're doing things, right? Gotta put that in there. Flour left, that's good. There. Alrighty, so I'm going to drain some things. Going over here. This is the chicken that has stories to tell, but not enough chicken. So it's shredded though. It was cooked at some point. I'm going to drain a couple quarts of the canned chicken. So anyway, I'm just gonna shred this up, go ahead and dump this in. And then I have the carrots. Now, when I canned the carrots, I canned them in like long matchstick type, which was easy canning. So I'm just gonna chop those quickly also. Okay, so I'm gonna get this in our big pot here. Alrighty, so I have a variety of things here. I think I'm gonna do these carrots first because I'm just gonna take a butter knife and cut them. And then we'll drain the corn and some potatoes and sweet peas. Let me get a butter knife. This little fun thing is what I use to get the jar lids off, and I will link one for you guys. I know lots of you have asked me about it. Oh, there, carrot. There we go. Add it to my stack over here. We'll pretend like the dishes aren't there, okay? We can do that. Just might as well use it up, right? Okay, so I would say this is a good 20 quarts of pot pie filling. All right, so I just took a big batch cooking break to feed the mama here. And so now we're gonna get started on these shepherd's pies. Now, I am using my home canned potatoes. It's been a little bit, I feel like at least twice I've done mashed potatoes with them, and I don't have a recipe with tips and tricks over on my blog, but let's see here, I'm gonna pull the name up. There's one, loavesandishes.net, so I will link her tips and tricks down below and her article on making mashed potatoes with home canned potatoes. She's got some neat tricks, just such as we're gonna drain the water off and we're gonna cook these again in some fresh water, and we're gonna just follow her list. We're just gonna obey and read directions from here. Alrighty, so I'm trying to combine all of my ground meat in this bowl here. I don't think we need the 30-quart bowl, but I have been wrong about volume before. So I just put the ground turkey in, the ice maker's talking to us, then we have our other bag of ground beef. And then at some point I got about 5 pounds of the bison also cooked up. So we're just gonna mix all of this together and then layer it in our pans. I'm also, next up, I was just reading you about the home canned mashed potatoes situation. So we're gonna get going on that too. And I have decided, you know, as I do these big videos and as I work through my day, work through mama life, work through all the things that are happening, we assess, right? And I just had a little fill-in grocery haul that I'm gonna film for you guys in another video. That little fill-in grocery order for the next week, I spent about, I think, $154. So I'm going to film that, just letting you know what I'm doing with my time, right? So we will need to bag up our chicken pot pie filling, make the shepherd's pies. Then I'm going to do, I think, about 7 to 10 pounds of sloppy joes, so that we will have 2 days of sloppy joes here and have enough to freeze. And then whatever ground bison is left, I want to go ahead and cook up for upcoming big batch cooking projects. That will follow in another video as well. Alrighty, and deep discussion going down this afternoon about shepherd's pie. Now, I've never made mine with a gravy, but I've been discussing it with the internet, and apparently some people do. So gravy on meat is delightful, and so I'm gonna do, I'll link this below, over on largefillingtable.com, I've got a freezer gravy, I call it, but I freeze all kinds of gravy. Anyway, it's 2 sticks of butter. Let's see, this batch, it's a cup of flour, and it ends up being about 8 cans of, sorry, I don't know why I held that on for so long, 8 cups of whatever broth. I have chicken broth. It will be delicious. We'll also throw some onion powder and salt and pepper in here. And then I'm just going to mix this with our mystery pounds of meat. I think we've got about 10 pounds of meat over there. When I link my big batch shepherd pie recipe below, and again, the freezer gravy recipe will be there too, just know that I'm adding that to it in case I don't get to the blog post to say, hey, I also did this variation, and here's the gravy that I used. So just let that butter cook. I've got my onion powder here. I have, we made onion powder out of the Egyptian walking onions last year. I was trying to remember how I did it. I'm pretty sure I put the Egyptian walking onions through the freeze dryer, and then we just used the Vitamix and I made them into an onion powder. And so I do have garlic powder there. Yeah, so we'll just continue to use that up as well. So I'm adding a little project, adding a little step to this. And if my voice is down, the day, the afternoon, the evening, I guess it's evening, it's almost 6 o'clock. Sheesh. I did get my run in earlier today. I had over 15,000 steps before noon, and you would think that the steps just continue to rack up, but when you're cooking and doing kitchen projects and stuff, at least for me, I don't get a ton of steps because I'm just kind of in the same space here. Anyway, got my run in, and I'm glad about that. We're working through these projects here, and we are going to have sloppy joes for dinner. I've already told my folks that, so they are very excited. And so now I am just adding in my chicken broth and continuing to whisk, also adding in some garlic powder and seasonings there. And yeah, it's just the process of whisking away, continually whisking the gravy, making it all it needs to be. And now I am draining out
the liquid from the carrots that we canned and the corn that we canned. And I'm also opening up other cans from the grocery store in my basement that we needed to use up as well. And we are just draining all of these things, and then we will use them in our big batch cooking dinners that we're doing. Walking all those drained veggies over to my 30-quart mixing bowl and adding those in with our ground meat.
I think I did lie, because one of the 30-quart bowls would have made for the stirring of all of this. See, I wasn't going to mix all of this together, but then once I committed to the gravy, I'm like, all of this just needs to go together. So we will do a layer of the shepherd's pie mixture, and then the mashed potatoes, and then we'll top it with cheese. So this, don't tell, this is a little 6 p.m. cup of coffee, but I will still sleep tonight, okay? I also had a little evening salted caramel lilies. This whole situation, there's a few pieces left, okay? I had some other folks sharing with me. So I'm not going to stir my coffee with the carrot fork though. I know you're glad. Okay, let's see about getting the gravy over. Which way would be best? I think because of my burn history, we're gonna carry this over there instead of me carrying the hot pan over here. I think that's how this is gonna work. Let's see, okay. We're doing this. Still think I'm gonna lift this and dump it. Let me close a few things here. We got a little bit more on the sides. Okay. Trying to get every last drop, right? Liked a double batch of gravy, but still good. We're still getting the gravy effect here. I feel like I have my oar in stirring my boat of gravy.
But that's okay. If you need a friend that can stir a boatload of gravy, as I like to say, I'm your girl. So I am taking a minute there just to tidy up our work area and wipe things down and get some things put away. And then we will definitely continue on for here. I just wipe as I can. And yeah, I just gotta take a moment to do a little mama tidying up. I've got some pans I'm gonna wash up, and my pot I'm going to get soaking. Get some scrubbing bubbles, some scrubbing action going with all of that. Some things I do take the time to hand wash in the middle of my cooking, and then some things just have to go in the dish stack to be processed. So this was my adult evening bad decision, okay? So yeah, I was heating up some coffee left in my coffee maker from this morning, and I was like, wait a minute, I'm doing a pantry and freezer challenge. I have Starbucks iced coffee, see the logic here, that I got at Sharp Shopper for $1.49. It needs used up. This is all for the pantry challenge, and I don't know that I'm going to drink all of this, but I mean, the shepherd's pies are calling us, so, and look, that looks so beautiful. It just seems like the thing to do. No problems here. I'm just gonna juggle my iced coffee
precariously on the side of the sink, but it'll all work out just fine.
So now I'm just opening up these potatoes and I'm getting them drained as well. The recipe that I was using for some additional inspiration talked about draining the canned potatoes and then bringing them to a boil in some fresh water. Of course, she was referring to store-bought potatoes, not home canned potatoes, but I appreciated her extra tips and tricks, and I will definitely link that down below so you can click through and get some inspiration if you've got potatoes in your pantry. I have definitely made mashed potatoes with my home canned potatoes before, and again, it's just different. They're not going to be super fluffy, but on top of something like a shepherd's pie, it's absolutely perfect. I will also link for you down in the description below my recipe for mashed potatoes for the freezer. And so here we are getting several pans full of our prairie pie mixture. I started out thinking I was going to get 4 full pans, and we end up getting 6, and several of those are deep dish. I had a friend ask me the other day where I got my 9x13 deep dish Pyrex, and that was at my local Walmart. So I will definitely link that for you here in this video as well. And then I have some other 9x13 dishes and a Pioneer Woman dish, and then these are the 10x15, and they are a deeper dish also. I believe they're by Pyrex. I have collected those from Walmart as well, and they are just perfect for the shepherd's pie. And let me tell you, this is such a popular item at my house. I'm so glad that we made several of these and got them in the freezer, because I know one night a week for the next 6 weeks, dinner's already done. Okay, so look at this Mega Mama math. Looks like we are getting 6 deep dish shepherd's pies. Alrighty, so I have one of my adult sons here, and I am going to have him do the business of draining those potatoes for me. So there they are, drained and back in the pot. Okay, we're gonna add in butter. That's about a stick and a half. In her recipe, again, that I'll link below, she's using 1 can of, I believe, store-bought, like canned potatoes that way. But I thought this would work out pretty well. I like tips, especially for my brain. Okay, garlic powder, onion powder, Parmesan cheese, sour cream. I have some grated. Well, we're using provolone because we're using what we have here. Eyeballing as we do, as we should. Alrighty. Get another wooden spoon, and I am totally eyeballing. I have not been doing the multiplication and such with her particular recipe. We have, what did I use? 8 quarts of canned potatoes. Anyway, it is all working out. It is all good. And then she has us adding milk at the end once we get these mashed up based on the desired consistency. So I like all of that. She did have add in shredded cheese, cream. At this point, I am mixing everything up with my wooden spoon and then just doing it the old-fashioned way with the potato masher. And then here in a few minutes, we're going to get out the immersion blender and use the immersion blender a little bit on these big batch mashed potatoes. And that still works well, so I'm proud of us. And here I'm adding in some more heavy cream, and we are going round and round with the immersion blender. And now we are going to top each shepherd's pie with mashed potatoes. And I have gotten some questions on what happened to all of the provolone that we processed in a big batch freezer cooking video and meal prep before this one. And well, a lot of that provolone got used on the topping for these shepherd's pies, as well as other breakfast sandwiches when I did some breakfast freezer cooking and daily sandwiches and all the things you need a whole bunch of shredded cheese for over about a week and a half period or so in my household. That's what it got used on. So we're going to top each of these with that here in a few minutes. These mashed potatoes turned out so very good, and I spread that layer out and then top it with provolone. So here we go. We got our shepherd's pies covered, and this is delicious. I have been eating what is left of the potatoes on my finger, scraping out the bowl. They are just absolutely scrumptious, so there will be no complaints here. Good. Timer going off. Okay. Absolutely delicious. So I don't have any shredded cheese right now, although of course we could do some. Hold on here. Let me juggle my dishes around. I do have some of the Parmesan that we sliced down the other day. Sorry, my back is too. So I was just gonna, not Parmesan, provolone. I was just going to put some provolone on it, and whenever I bake these in the coming weeks and months, the cheese will melt over the mashed potatoes. That will go over the meat and the gravy and all the delicious things. So it will be a beautiful thing. So we'll just pretend that these thick provolone slices are shredded cheese. And I'm trying to get to doing big batch sloppy joes, but I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to also bake up one of these to show you. And there are enough people here that will also eat a shepherd's pie over the next day or two with no problems. I've already been getting questions about the delicious smelling potatoes. So let's just do that. Like eeny, meeny, miny, mo, which one? I guess I'll like this one. Why not? Okay, I've got a teen helping me wrap up those shepherd's pies now, and I'm gonna get going on big batch cooking a bunch of this bison. So we use several pounds of ground bison to make some delicious, healthy, homemade sloppy joes. This is a super duper favorite with all of my humans here, and I figure I can make this in big batch. Everyone can of course have as much as they would like, and then that will also give me plenty to freeze for one of those days or weeks where I need extra help feeding the humans. I will thank myself for having a gallon bag or 2 gallon bags of sloppy joes ready to go. All I do is set them out to defrost, or in a pinch, I can even do the cold water defrost method on one of those gallon bags. And the sloppy joes could, in a real pinch, be heated up, just the meat in a microwave, but I could also dump it in the slow cooker to warm through, or warm it through on the stovetop. So this was a new meat masher that was just delivered. I just did and filmed for you guys a little Walmart fill in the gaps order where I spent $154, and it's mainly milk and such, but I got this little meat masher. That's the brand. I've needed another good dependable one. I got several years out of my other good old faithful one. And
hoping this one is just as good. Anyway, so I just washed this off. So far, so good.
And you just gotta love a good meat masher. You know, for years I was like, oh, I don't need one because I have my spatula, but you all have spoiled me with the meat masher. I do really like it. And my other one I probably used for 4 or 5 years. I've had a few meat mashers since then, and they just have not been the same. So we're giving this one a go. And so far, so good. So far, so good. And now I'm just adding in my seasonings and a little salt and pepper to the meat too. But I have found the ground bison to be very lean, just like the grass-fed cow meat that we have enjoyed. And so I'm adding in some blackstrap molasses and some mustard. You can also add in ground mustard. I'm doing a can of tomato paste, and then we'll also throw some ketchup in there and mix it all up and let it continue to cook through. And I was testing it, and I will say it's absolutely delicious. Now, there's times when I use the Swerve brown sugar substitute, and that's more on my Trim Healthy Mama plan when I do on plan sloppy joes. But this was still healthy and delicious with the blackstrap molasses. And here's a look at everything we did. So we did the 10 pounds of sloppy joes and the 17-inch Lodge cast iron. We did 5-gallon bags of homemade pot pie mix that I will put in 9x13 pans, and we will use our homemade freezer biscuits as the topping for those. And then we did 6 shepherd's pies, prairie pies, several of those deep dish, and one I baked up for dinner on this night as well, to show you just how delicious all of that turned out. Thank you so much for watching, friends, and for joining along in my summer 2024 Use It Up Freezer and Pantry Challenge. I appreciate you and all of your great ideas. I will talk to you in those comments below, and I'll see you real soon with another brand new video. Bye-bye.